Hi, I'm Jacqueline. Today I'm going to show you 3 basic embroidery stitches: the back stitch, the satin stitch, and the French knot. These are the 3 stitches that I use in about 90% of my own embroidery projects. And remember, with a little bit of practice, you'll be a pro in no time. So for the back stitch, I'm going to bring my needle up at the starting point, and then I'm going to go back down for my first stitch. Now for the second stitch, I'm going to bring my needle up in front of where I want my next stitch to be. So you can see I've left a little space there where my next stitch would be. Bring that up, and then I work back, and I put the needle into the hole where that first stitch ended. And I do the same thing for the next stitch. I come up a little bit forward of where I want my stitch to be, and then I go back down where the previous stitch ended, and just keep going. Now on a straight area, like what I've got here, the side of this heart, you can do stitches which are a little bit bigger. When you get to a curve like this heart, you'll want your stitches to be a little bit smaller to go around that curve smoothly. And the smaller the curve, the smaller your stitches. Just keep practicing, and pretty soon you'll have nice, small, even stitches. Now the other thing you can do as you're working, if you find that your thread starts to tangle, just unthread the needle, untangle your threads, rethread the needle, and then just continue stitching. Okay, so this is the French knot. I love making French knots. I just think they're really cute. To start, how I do mine is I put a little knot about an inch or an inch and a half away from the end of the thread, and I'll show you why in a minute. So I'm going to come up. Then what you do is you put the needle close to the fabric and you wrap the thread around about 3 times. The more you wrap it, the bigger your knot will be. And the secret is to keep your needle down close to the surface of the fabric. Okay. Then I'm going to put the needle right back down. I kind of missed my mark there, but that's okay. Put the needle right back down in the fabric next to where it came up. And then just pull really slowly, and you'll get a perfect French knot. Now the reason I left that tail is just to make it easier to tie it off. So now I can just make a square knot on the back, and then I can clip those threads. I'll show you one more time. I'll do one more. Bring the needle up. With the needle close to the surface of the fabric, I wrap it 3 times. You can do 2 for a smaller knot or 4 for a bigger one. Keeping the needle close to the fabric and the wrapped thread close to the fabric, you insert the needle back down right next to where the thread came up, and then pull it through your knot and just pull gently until you formed your knot. And that's the French knot. So now I'm going to make a satin stitch. Satin stitch is great for filling in shapes like flower centers or little berries or a little dog nose or a cat nose or something like that. So what I do is just bring my needle up. I'm going to go all the way across my shape. I like to start in the center rather than the edge. And I'm using 3 strands here because the more strands you use, the faster it will go because you are filling in the space. And so then I just come back up next to where I made my first stitch, and you just keep going till you get the space all filled in. Now, if you're just a beginner and your shape doesn't come out perfectly, what you can do at the end, if you're not happy with the shape that you've created with your satin stitch, you can go all the way around it with a back stitch to just kind of define the shape. And that's it. Now I'm almost to the end. Now I'll just come back over and I'll start working on the other side. until I get it all the way filled in. And that's the satin stitch. And then if I wanted to go around it with a back stitch like I was just mentioning a minute ago, see, because maybe I don't like, I've got some edges here that are a little bit jagged. If you wanted to, you could go all the way around the shape with the back stitch. And that's it. So here's an example of an embroidery project I did using all the stitches that we talked about today. I used the back stitch to outline the cat and the flowers and make his whiskers. I used French knots for his eyes, and I used satin stitch for his nose, for the buckle on the collar, and for his spots. So are you ready to give embroidery a try? I also have an introductory video which will show you the basic supplies you will need to get started. If you haven't watched that one already, you might want to do so. Happy stitching!